We, as a Mangaung Society for Care of the Aged, we operate in the Free State, Mangaung Metropolitan Municipality area. Our offices are situated in Bloemfontein, but we also have projects in Tabansu. It's about 60 kilometers from Bloemfontein. The organization was formed in 1986 by residents. Abahlali base Bloemfontein came together after uMasipala wabantu abamnyama then decided to uzawuvala i-old age home, because the old age home was first established around 1952, and then it was run by the municipality. People who were born before technology will understand that we once had apartheid, where people were divided according to color, tribal origins or ethnicity and so on. So in the Bloemfontein, there was a Bloemfontein City Council for white people and the Mangaung Local Council for abantu abamnyama. And then the services abantu abamnyama were delivered by that local municipality. Then in 1982, it decided to close down the old age home. But then the community around Mangaung said, we need this asset. And then they came together in 1986 to form Mangaung Society for Care of the Aged. So we've been in existence for around 31 years. But we started firstly as a old age home, doing residential care services. And then with the introduction of democracy, there were new legislation, one of them is the Older Persons Act. The Older Persons Act talks in the main about two services that must be rendered for older persons. The first one is residential care services, and then the next one is community-based care program and support services. And then under residential care, it's in an old age home that is subsidized by the Department of Social Development, and it caters for 80 beds. We have, sinaba around 80, for 80. And then we also run community-based programs like home-based care, where we have caregivers who go into the community to provide services to people who stay in the community. And then also we run daycare, it's like an ECD, where abomkhulu can be taken from their homes to the old age home. They spend a day there where they are safe, they are given a meal, and at the end of the day they are taken back to their houses. And then we have support services. These services are in the main luncheon clubs, where you have groups of older persons who come together once a week, and then other days of the week they're involved in sports and so on. Because, like we said in the beginning, old age doesn't mean the time where you have to sit at home and die. I think now, like Statistics South Africa says, abantu live longer than before. And then with the improvement in our public health system, they live longer, healthy. So we need to ensure that those people remain engaged. And then abantu abadala, others were professionals, others were artisans. They have a lot of skill and experience that they can give to the younger generation. I think uThulani also said, "Inyathi buzwa phambili." So we need to ensure that those people are engaged in the community, and then they can still provide leadership. So we have about 13 luncheon clubs, 12 in Tabansu, 12 in Bloemfontein, and then 1 in Tabansu. And then also, due to the work that we've been doing on older persons services or field, in 2005 we were approached by the Department of Social Development to help them to implement the Orphan and Vulnerable Children project in Tabansu. That is why that was the beginning of our services expanding from older persons clientele to include children. And then it is also because the organization was well managed, well run, and so on. And at that time, the department trusted that we can be able to deliver the service. And then if you also recall, it was appropriate for an organization of older persons to be able to deliver this service because the people who were mostly affected and infected by HIV were young people. People who were economically active. And then there were fathers and mothers who were dying young, leaving young children alone or in the care of their grandmothers and so on. So then the organization then took over. Also the Department of Health joined because the burden then of the pandemic was so much that hospitals couldn't cope with the care of the sick. And also because HIV is not a disease that will kill you. It's chronic. You can't heal it, but you can live, you can manage it well and live with it. So it was also important to ensure that those who had HIV will have access to care. So we were then given that task to implement the home-based care program on behalf of the Department of Health. And then as we implemented that program, we learned also that it is not only about caring, but those people need to live, they need to eat, they need to do. That's why then we started having programs outside like food gardens, piggery, so as to ensure that even if they are unemployed, those people can have access to food. So these projects, the implement to Tabansu. Tabansu is 60 km from Bloemfontein, but it's a rural area. Like people who are, if they want to shop seriously, there are people there, but there are no resources. And so on. So a show will be Bloemfontein, but then Tabansu will be there. So then those people needed to be self-sufficient, be able to rely on themselves in order to do things. And then it was also in this context that we were also approached in order to implement Khwela. And then I'm only about 18 months or 2 years in my present position. The people who started this thing or who joined first before me, Kim Mejeki, Pajan or Dingalo, depending which boat she's in. They have been working with the communities. Other programs that we have is the Orphan and Vulnerable Children. Like in the previous slide, it started in 7 villages, but due to budget cuts and so on, it is now being implemented in 4 rural villages. We also have the SLP program from the NMCF. The Orphan and Vulnerable Children was funded by the Department of Social Development. We have about 10 child care workers who assist us to run this program. And then these 4 centers, there's a matron and the assistant. And then they all report to Major Gidingano in Tabansu, the peri-urban center. And then we have the Sustainable Livelihood Projects program in Tabansu. And then in Tabansu Central, we have 12 self-help groups. In Bloemfontein, we have 4 self-help groups. And then in Tabansu rural villages, in those 4 villages, we have 9 self-help groups. And then we have a community-based program based on older person services called Ritume Zelanchon Club in Gladstone. Gladstone is more of your bigger rural village of the four villages in Tabansu. What we do as an organization, or what we want to achieve, is to provide a comprehensive, effective and sustainable services to older persons in the Mangaung area, orphaned and vulnerable children. And we also are involved now, our mandate has expanded to also move into community development or poverty alleviation. That is why we implement the SLP program. And then we have started, we met with the NMCF in January, February this year to also try to introduce the child survival and development. The staff arrangement is that the Mangaung Society for Care of the Aged is a NPO. We are registered as an NPO, and then we have a board that manages our services. And then we have an executive manager who controls all the programs and then all the services. And then we have what we call senior staff, where there's a program coordinator, the position I'm holding. We have the area coordinator position that is being held by Mejeki. We have, because we run residential services, we have a registered nurse who heads our frail care unit. And then we have a luncheon clubs coordinator who works between myself and Mejeki to ensure that the services to older persons are on par. We have a bookkeeper to ensure that our finances are okay. And the board has various committees. There's a health and welfare committee, there's a human resource committee, and the finance committee. And then we have general staff. We have about 67 employees that works. Remember, because of an old age home, funeka sibe namanesi and unakekela and our elders. Under the Sustainable Livelihood Program, we have around 162 families, and then under the OVC we have 185 families, and then the number of children under the self-help program is 298, and then under the OVC is 320. And I think under the OVC we are overachieving the target that has been set. I think the subsidy, if I'm not wrong, is for only 200 children. Sorry? Yes. Yes. We are only subsidized for 200 children, but we have around 320 children on the program. So this means there's a pressure on us to ensure that we raise funds constantly and so on. And then we are also, talking in terms of funds, we are also funded by the National Lotteries Commission until June this year. Now we need to not to submit applications for a year, but it's a cooling off period after we have been subsidized. Like we said in the beginning, we have 25 self-help groups. 21 of these groups are active, and then 4 of the clubs are at formative stages. These are the 4 clubs that are in Bloemfontein, where we have started the groups, but we are struggling because people are used to the society scheme, where you contribute your money and then at the end of the year you share that money. So we are still, that's why we call them formative stage, because we are struggling to change that mindset. And then the total membership is 249. The highlights is that of the 25 groups that we have, 6 of them have started income generating activities. And then there's also one individual who has formed the IGA. And then one has registered as a cooperative. The food gardens that we have started is providing food security. We are in discussion with the Tabo Trust, one of our main supporters in that area, where they will assist the sewing groups. That's why we banded the 3 sewing groups into one, so that when the orders come, they can be able to take advantage of. We have 5 childcare forums. The 4 are in the 4 rural villages, then the 5th one is in the Tabanchu Center. Also, the other highlight is that with the funding from NMCF, we've been able to provide training to CCFs, training to self-help groups, and so on. The other thing that is our highlight is we work well with our stakeholders, particularly Tabo Trust, that is providing us with the right support in terms of equipment that we can use, and it's also has given us a place in Gladstone, or infrastructure in Gladstone that we can work from. Also, Nedbank provided also infrastructure for our container in Nogasport. We work well also with SABC Foundation. They started working with older persons, and then we have taken them for the first time to Tabanso this year, where during the Older Persons Month, they saw the work that we are doing, and they are interested in assisting us more. They have given us equipment meant for older persons, but some of the members of the self-help groups are members of the Luncheon Club. So as a result, that equipment will also benefit the self-help groups. DSD has given us our offices or office space for free. So we work from there, and we work well with them. There are challenges, but overall it is well. And then we also work with the Department of Health for the clinics that we have. The challenges that we have is that the villages are remote. We said Bloemfontein is about 60 km from Tabanzo, but the distance between Tabanzo and Gladstone is around 80 to 90 kilometers. So you can actually see how far removed from the center is our villages. The literacy level of our beneficiaries in terms of ufundisa abantu, it's a problem. Some of the material is in English, and then translating it to Setswana or Sesotho is also a problem. The other problem that we had, because we were introducing the new program like child survival and development, our staff, mostly the carers at the drop-in centers, they felt, it's an added workload, it's an added work on them. And during the discussions for salaries and so on, they really played hardball. They wanted more money because now they are doing extra work and so on. The other thing that we didn't include here is superstition, because we wanted to get the days when the person is going to have a kid. You must not tell when are you going to have a kid, lest or something. So people gave us problems. Why do you want to know this date and so on? Are people adhering to dates? Is a clinic? Is everything going well and so on? And then to also further explain this point, we had one of the caregivers or childcare workers who didn't tell us she was pregnant up until she went to the hospital. And she wouldn't tell. Majiki phoned her and met her and asked, what is the problem? She didn't say anything up until Umdana back home. Yeah. So it is another. The other thing is resources. Because we are remote, there are villages where you can't phone. And then even in Gladstone, you need to stand at a particular spot for you to receive network. And then transport, where there are no taxis, you have to rely on a bus and so on. Yeah. But people there are doing more with less. Also access to market. Our groups are doing canning, drying vegetables, and so on, but they don't have access to the market. The facilities also in town are not available for them to market. What we do, mostly we rely on Thabo Trust. If they have functions elsewhere, they are the guys who exhibit our work. I know my voice is not like Babunyu, so when I yeah, now I'm putting you to sleep. So there's only I'm seeing. And then we have had drought for about 2 or 3 years, and then this has really affected our ability to do gardening. Relationship with other stakeholders. We live in, there are 4 villages are in rural areas, and then we have good relations with the Lekgotla la Barolo. And then for whatever we need, if we need the grounds to be bladed, or we need sites for our projects and so on, they gladly assist us to do that. We work well with government departments, although some, like agriculture, took us long, but up and now they have given us access to a local dam where they also laid into the irrigation system there. And then they are beginning to come, but we struggled to get them to assist us with research. The type of soil that we have, what is it that can be planted there. Major struggled for over a year just to get someone to come out and look at that. Others, like we also under OVC, we look for birth certificates, or we also have abantwana basuka eLesotho who comes to South Africa, and some stay in Tabantu. We assist them in getting documentation. We work with DSD after we have got those documentation to assist them to get childcare grants and so on. We talked about Thabo Trust, SABC Foundation. We also work with local schools. We are currently now having relationship with 2 clinics. The one Petro clinic is in Gladstone, and then that clinic services the other 4 villages around. So it services 7 villages, but we work in the 4 of those 7 villages. And then Renale Khaungale clinic in Zone 2. That is our urban center or Tabanchu center that we also work with. We hope the relationship will grow from here. There are regular checkups done by these health centers on children according to their health cards from the first day, and so on. Before, like we at the end, but I will ask my colleagues if there's something that I've missed or something they want to emphasize. Ndiyabulela.